We're cracking open the complex world of computer hardware, cables, RAM, you name it. Your CompTIA A plus Core 22011-01 exam prep starts now. The first question is about a user who reports that their laptop runs slowly, even right after booting up. After troubleshooting, you determine that the hard drive is failing. You need to replace the hard drive. The laptop currently has a 2.5 inches SATA hard drive. Which of the following would be the best replacement drive? A. 2.5 inches hard drive, 5,400 revolutions per minute, SATA. B. 2.5 inches SSD SATA drive, CM, 2 SATA SSD drive. D. 3.5 inches hard drive, 7,200 revolutions per minute, SATA. The best replacement drive would be B, 2.5 inches SSD SATA drive. This is the best choice because SSDs are much faster than traditional hard drives, leading to quicker boot times and faster data access. The 2.5 inches size and SATA interface match the existing drive, ensuring compatibility with the laptop. A. 2.5 inches hard drive, 5,400 revolutions per minute SATA. This would work as it matches the size and interface of the existing drive. However, it wouldn't improve the laptop's performance as it's a traditional hard drive. CM2 SATA SSD drive. While this is an SSD, the M2 form factor may not fit in a laptop designed for a 2.5 inches drive. D. 3.5 inches hard drive, 7,200 revolutions per minute SATA. This drive is too large to fit in a laptop, which typically uses 2.5 inches drives. Despite the faster RPM, it's still a traditional hard drive and wouldn't provide the performance boost of an SSD. Two, you are installing memory in a desktop computer. The motherboard has 4 memory slots and supports up to 64 GB of quad-channel DDR4 memory. 2 of the slots are occupied with 8 GB DDR4 RAM sticks. What memory configuration would maximize performance? A. Install 2 8 GB sticks in the empty slots. B. Install 2 16 GB sticks in the empty slots. C. Install 1 8 GB and 1 16 GB stick in the empty slots. D. The current configuration maximizes performance. The memory configuration that would maximize performance is A. Install 2 8 GB sticks in the empty slots. This is the best choice because it maintains the symmetry of the memory configuration, which is crucial for maximizing the performance of a quad-channel memory architecture. B. Install 2 16 GB sticks in the empty slots. This would increase the total memory, but it might not maximize performance because the memory sticks are not identical, which is recommended for a quad-channel configuration. C. Install 1 8 GB and 1 16 GB stick in the empty slots. This would not maximize performance because the memory sticks are not identical, which is recommended for a quad-channel configuration. D. The current configuration maximizes performance. This is not the best choice because there are still 2 empty memory slots that could be utilized to increase performance. 3. A user reports that their inkjet printer is leaving streaks on printouts. Which of the following maintenance steps should you try first to resolve the issue? A. Clean the printer heads. B. Replace the ink cartridges. C. Calibrate the printer. D. Clear any paper jams. The first maintenance step to resolve the issue should be A. Clean the printer heads. This is the best first step because streaks on printouts are often caused by clogged or dirty printer heads. Cleaning the printer heads can often resolve this issue. B. Replace the ink cartridges. While replacing the ink cartridges could potentially solve the problem if the ink cartridges are empty or faulty, it's not the best first step. It's more costly and may not be necessary if the issue is due to dirty or clogged printer heads. C. Calibrate the printer. Calibration is typically done to improve color accuracy and print quality. However, it's not likely to resolve streaking issues, which are often due to dirty or clogged printer heads. D. Clear any paper jams. Paper jams would cause the printer to stop working altogether, not leave streaks on printouts. Therefore, clearing paper jams would not resolve the streaking issue. 4. You are selecting a new power supply for a computer. The system will have standard components with the following power connectors: 24-pin motherboard connector, 6-pin PCIe connector, two 6+2-pin PCIe connectors. Which of the following power supplies would be appropriate for this system? A. 500 watts with 24-pin, two 6+2-pin, and one 6-pin connector. B. 650 watts with 24-pin and four 6+2-pin connectors. C. 750 watts with 24-pin and six 6-pin connectors. D. 800 watts with 24-pin, two 6-pin, and two 6+2-pin connectors. The appropriate power supply for this system would be A. 500 watts with 24-pin, two 6+2-pin, and one 6-pin connector. This is the best choice because it matches the required connectors for the system: one 24-pin motherboard connector, one 6-pin PCIe connector, and two 6+2-pin PCIe connectors. B. 650 watts with 24-pin and four 6+2-pin connectors. This power supply has the necessary 24-pin motherboard connector and 6+2-pin PCIe connectors, but it lacks the 6-pin PCIe connector. C. 750 watts with 24-pin and six 6-pin connectors. This power supply has the necessary 24-pin motherboard connector and 6-pin PCIe connector, but it lacks the 6+2-pin PCIe connectors. D. 800 watts with 24-pin, two 6-pin, and two 6+2-pin connectors. This power supply has all the necessary connectors, but it's not the best choice because it provides more power than necessary, which could lead to unnecessary energy consumption and cost. 5. A user reports that their desktop computer will not power on. You open the computer case and verify that the power supply switch is turned on. You replace the power cable going into the power supply, but the computer still does not start. What should you try next? A. Test the power outlet with a multimeter. B. Replace the power supply. C. Reset the CMOS battery. D. Reseat the CPU. The best choice is A. Test the power outlet with a multimeter. This is the most logical next step. Before replacing any components, it's important to ensure the power source functions correctly. A multimeter can be used to verify this. B. Replace the power supply. This could be a potential solution if the power supply is faulty. However, it's a more drastic and costly measure that should be considered only after ruling out simpler possibilities like a faulty power outlet. C. Reset the CMOS battery. Resetting the CMOS battery is typically done when dealing with BIOS-related issues. It's unlikely to help when the computer is not powering on at all. D. Reseat the CPU. Reseating the CPU is a complex task that should be done only when there are clear indications of CPU-related issues. It's not a typical solution for power-related problems. 6. Which of the following windows? 10 display settings directly affects the size of text, apps, and other items on your screen? A. Multiple displays set to extend these displays. B. Resolution set to the highest native resolution of both monitors. C. Scale and layout set to 100% scaling for both monitors. D. Brightness is calibrated equally on both monitors. The best choice is C. Scale and layout set to 100% scaling for both monitors as it directly affects the size of text, apps, and other items on your screen. A. Extend these displays is for using both monitors as one display, not for matching display appearances. B. Setting the highest native resolution doesn't ensure matching displays, especially if monitors have different native resolutions. D. Calibrating brightness equally helps match the brightness level, but doesn't affect the size of items on the screen. Seven, a desktop computer with 4 hard drive bays uses RAID 5 with 4 2TB hard drives. One of the hard drives fails. Which of the following replacements would allow the RAID 5 array to rebuild? A. 2 1TB hard drives. B. 1 2TB hard drive. C. 1 4TB hard drive. D. 1 8TB hard drive. The best answer is 1 2TB hard drive. It's the perfect match for the existing drives in the array. The other options, they fall short. 2 1TB hard drives won't fit in one bay. A 4TB or 8TB hard drive would technically work, but the extra space would be wasted, as RAID 5 uses the size of the smallest disk. So the user, with their new 2TB hard drive, can successfully rebuild their RAID 5 array. Eight. Which type of cable uses light rather than electricity for data transmission? A. Coaxial. B. Twisted pair. C. Fiber optic. D. Category 5. The answer shines bright. C. Fiber optic. This cable type uses light pulses to transmit data, making it unique among the options. As for the others, A. Coaxial and B. Twisted pair cables, along with D. Category 5, a type of twisted pair cable, all use electrical signals for data transmission, not light. So, with a fiber optic cable, data travels at the speed of light. Nine. What is the maximum rated data transfer speed for Category 6 network cable? A. 100 megabits per second. B. 1 gigabytes per second. C. 10 gigabytes per second. D. 100 gigabytes per second. The answer is C. 10 gigabytes per second. A Category 6 cable can deliver this speed, but it's important to note that this speed is achievable up to a distance of 180 feet, equivalent to 55 meters. The other options don't quite hit the mark. A. 100 megabits per second and B. 1 gigabytes per second are below the maximum speed of a Category 6 cable. D. 100 gigabytes per second exceeds the capabilities of a Category 6 cable. So, with a Category 6 cable, data can zip along at speeds up to 10 gigabytes per second. An administrator needs to connect a computer and a printer located 25 feet apart. Which of the following solutions would work best for this situation? A. USB 2.0 cable. B. USB 3.0 cable with an active repeater. C. Thunderbolt 3 cable. D. HDMI cable. The answer is clear. B. USB 3.0 cable with an active repeater. This solution is designed to maintain signal integrity over longer distances, making it suitable for a 25 feet connection. The other options don't quite hit the mark. A. USB 2.0 cables typically have a maximum length of 5 meters, or 16.4 feet. C. Thunderbolt 3 and D. HDMI cables are not typically used for printer connections, so with a USB 3.0 cable with an active repeater, the administrator can bridge the gap and connect the computer and printer even at 25 feet. What connector type typically uses 8 conductors and can support speeds up to 10 Gbps? A. RJ11, B. RJ45, C. DB9 serial, D. USB Type-C. The answer is B, RJ45. This connector type is commonly used with Ethernet cables like Cat6, which can technically support speeds up to 10 Gbps. The other options don't quite hit the mark. A, RJ11 and C, DB9 serial connectors are not designed for such high-speed data transmission. D, USB Type-C, while capable of high-speed data transfer, does not typically use 8 conductors, so with an RJ45 connector, data can zip along at speeds up to 10 Gbps. 12. What is the maximum frequency bandwidth supported by Category 6 a cable? A, 100 MHz, B, 250 MHz, C, 350 MHz, D, 500 MHz. The answer is D, 500 MHz. This is the maximum frequency bandwidth that a Category 6A cable can support. The other options don't quite hit the mark. A, 100 MHz, B, 250 MHz, and C, 350 MHz are all below the maximum frequency bandwidth of a Category 6A cable. So, with a Category 6A cable, data can zip along at frequencies up to 500 MHz. A network administrator is preparing to install cabling in a new office building. The building's design includes spaces for air circulation in the ceiling and under the floor. What type of twisted pair cable should be installed? A, PVC jacket cable, B, PE jacket cable, C, plenum rated cable, D, shielded twisted pair. The best choice is C, plenum rated cable. These cables are fire resistant and don't emit toxic fumes when burned, making them ideal for air circulation spaces. A, PVC jacket cable and B, PE jacket cable can release toxic fumes when burned, making them unsuitable for plenum spaces. D, shielded twisted pair reduces electromagnetic interference but doesn't affect suitability for plenum spaces, which is determined by the fire resistance and low smoke production of the cable jacket material. So, for plenum cabling, plenum rated cable is the best choice. 14. What connector uses PCB board edge fingers to connect expansion cards to the motherboard? A, Molex, B, AGP, C, PCIe, D, SATA. The correct choice is C, PCIe. This is a high-speed standard that uses PCB board edge fingers to connect expansion cards, like graphics cards and hard drives, to the motherboard. A, Molex. Molex connectors are used in electronics, including computers, but they don't use PCB board edge fingers for connections. B, AGP. AGP is an older type of expansion slot for 3D graphics, now largely replaced by PCIe. D, SATA. SATA is a bus interface that connects storage devices to the system, but it doesn't use PCB board edge fingers for connections. 15. An administrator needs to connect a legacy VGA display to a newer desktop computer. The computer has multiple output ports including HDMI, DisplayPort, DVI, and Thunderbolt. However, the administrator wants to use an adapter that can carry both video and audio signals. What type of adapter will allow this connectivity? A, DisplayPort to VGA, B, HDMI to VGA, C, DVI to VGA, D, Thunderbolt to VGA. The best choice is B, HDMI to VGA. HDMI can carry both audio and video signals, and an HDMI to VGA adapter would allow video connectivity. However, because VGA does not support audio, the audio signal would need to be routed separately. Now let's consider why the other options are not the best fit. A, DisplayPort to VGA. DisplayPort can carry both audio and video signals, but VGA does not support audio. See DVI to VGA. DVI typically does not carry an audio signal. D, Thunderbolt to VGA. Thunderbolt can carry audio and video signals, but VGA does not support audio. While DisplayPort and Thunderbolt support audio and video, Their VGA adapters often lack audio support. HDMI to VGA adapters, however, commonly include audio. 16. What type of cable commonly uses an LC connector on both ends? A. Coaxial, B. Twisted pair, C. Fiber optic, D. VGA. The best choice is C. Fiber optic. LC connectors, short for Lucent connectors, are commonly used in fiber optic cables. They were developed by Lucent Technologies as a small form factor solution to fiber optic connections. An LC-LC fiber patch cable, which has two LC fiber connectors terminated at both ends, is the most commonly used fiber optic cable type in the industry. A. Coaxial and B. Twisted pair cables typically use different types of connectors, such as BNC for coaxial and RJ45 for twisted pair, not LC connectors. D. VGA is a type of analog video connection that uses a 15-pin connector, not an LC connector. (17) A network administrator is installing new patch panels and wall jacks in an office. The cabling contractor has wired all connections using T568A standards. What issue may occur if the patch panels are terminated with T568B? A. The transmit and receive pairs will be reversed. B. Electromagnetic interference will increase. C. Only 4 of the 8 conductors will work. D. Speeds will be limited to 100 megabits per second. The best choice is A. The transmit and receive pairs will be reversed. If one end of a cable is wired using the T568A standard and the other end is wired using the T568B standard, it results in a crossover cable. In a crossover cable, the transmit and receive pairs are reversed, which can cause connectivity issues if the devices connected via that wiring are not capable of auto detection and auto correction. B. Electromagnetic interference will increase. The wiring standards T568A and T568B do not affect electromagnetic interference. C. Only 4 of the 8 conductors will work. Both T568A and T568B use all 8 conductors, so this would not be an issue. D. Speeds will be limited to 100 megabits per second. The speed limitation is not determined by the wiring standard, but by the category of the cable and the equipment used. (18) An administrator needs to run temporary network cabling along the floor of a conference room to connect devices for a special event. Which type of network cabling can lie directly on the floor? A. PVC jacket cable, B. Unshielded twisted pair, C. Shielded twisted pair, D. Plenum rated cable. The best choice is A. PVC jacket cable. PVC, or polyvinyl chloride, is a type of plastic used in the jacket of some network cables. It's durable and flexible, making it suitable for temporary setups, where the cable might need to lie directly on the floor. B. Unshielded twisted pair. And C. Shielded twisted pair refer to the type of cable construction and shielding, not the material of the cable jacket. While these cables could technically lie on the floor, they might not be as durable as PVC jacket cables for this kind of use. D. Plenum rated cable is designed for use in plenum spaces, areas used for air circulation in buildings, due to its fire-resistant properties. It's typically more expensive and not necessary for temporary setups where the cable lies on the floor. 19. How many conductors does standard RJ45 cabling use to connect devices on a TCP/IP network? A4, B6, C8, D12. The best choice is C8. Standard RJ45 cabling, also known as 8P8C, 8 position, 8 contact, uses 8 individual wires or conductors to connect devices on a TCP/IP network. These 8 wires are typically arranged in 4 twisted pairs inside the cable. Each pair serves as a channel through which data can be transmitted. 20. A user reports slow network performance when connecting devices with existing RJ11 telephone cabling in a small office. Which limitation is causing the speed issues? A. RJ11 only uses 4 conductors. B. RJ11 does not support full duplex. C. RJ11 cable length limits are only 30 meters. D. RJ11 connectors do not securely fit RJ45 ports. The best choice is A. RJ11 only uses 4 conductors. RJ11 connectors typically use 4 conductors, which can limit the data transfer rates, potentially leading to slow network performance. RJ11 is more commonly used for low-speed data transfer applications, such as telephony or low-speed serial communication. BRJ11 does not support full duplex. While it's true that RJ11 does not support full duplex, this is not typically the cause of slow network performance. RJ11 cable length limits are only 30 meters. The length of the RJ11 cable can affect the signal quality, but it's not the primary reason for slow network performance. RJ11 connectors do not securely fit RJ45 ports. While it's true that RJ11 connectors do not fit securely in RJ45 ports, this would result in no connection at all rather than slow network performance. (21) A network administrator must run new Ethernet cabling between 2 wiring closets on separate floors of an office building. What is the maximum distance the cable can run using standard UTP? A. 30 meters. B. 50 meters. C. 100 meters. D. 125 meters. The best choice is C. 100 meters. Standard UTP unshielded twisted pair. Ethernet cabling, such as Cat5e and Cat6, has a maximum length of 100 meters or 328 feet. This length includes both the horizontal cable length between the device and the patch panel, and the vertical cable length between floors or rooms. If you need to connect devices that are farther apart, you may need to consider using switches or other networking devices to extend the reach of your network. 22. An administrator is installing network infrastructure equipment in a data center. The room uses a raised floor for airflow, and the cables will run near multiple electrical devices. Which type of network cabling would be most suitable for this environment? A. UTP, unshielded twisted pair. B. STP, shielded twisted pair. C. Plenum rated cable. D. Cat5. The correct answer is B. STP, shielded twisted pair. This type of cable is designed to reduce electromagnetic interference, which can be a concern when cables are running near multiple electrical devices. UTP, unshielded twisted pair. While this is a common type of network cabling, it lacks the shielding that STP has, making it less suitable in environments with potential electromagnetic interference. Plenum rated cable. This type of cable is designed for use in air circulation spaces, but it doesn't specifically address electromagnetic interference. Cat5. This is a category of UTP cables, and like UTP, it lacks the shielding to reduce electromagnetic interference. 23. Users in a small office report very slow network performance. Upon investigation, the administrator discovers existing telephone cabling being used to connect VoIP phones is also being used for computer network connectivity. What disadvantage of UTP cabling is likely causing the poor performance? A. Length limitations. B. Lack of shielding. C. Fire risk. D. Difficulty with cable management. correct answer is B, lack of shielding. UTP, unshielded twisted pair, cables are more susceptible to radio frequency interference, RFI, and electromagnetic interference, EMI, especially when they are running near multiple electrical devices. This can degrade network performance. A, length limitations. While UTP cables do have length limitations, this is typically not an issue in a small office environment. C, fire risk. UTP cables do not pose a higher fire risk than other types of cables. D, difficulty with cable management. While cable management can be a challenge with any type of cabling, it is not a specific disadvantage of UTP cables. 24. A network administrator must run new cabling between two buildings on a corporate campus. The buildings are 1,000 feet, 305 meters apart. Which cabling type can transmit this distance without requiring a repeater? A, Cat5e UTP, B, multimode fiber optic cable, C, RG59 coaxial cable, D, Cat6 ASTP. The correct answer is B, multimode fiber optic cable. This type of cable can transmit data over long distances, well beyond the 1,000 feet specified in the question. ACAT5E UTP. This type of cable has a maximum distance of about 100 meters, 328 feet. C, RG59 coaxial cable. While this type of cable can transmit data over longer distances than UTP, it's not typically used for distances as long as 1,000 feet. D, Cat6 ASTP. Like Cat5e, this type of cable also has a maximum distance of about 100 meters, 328 feet. A cable technician needs to ground new RG6 cabling and equipment in a wiring closet. What must be grounded before terminating the new cabling? A, the building's electrical system. B, the cable modem. C, the patch panels and racks. D, the workstations. The correct answer is C, the patch panels and racks. When terminating RG6 cabling, the patch panels and racks should be grounded first. A, the building's electrical system. While it's important that the building's electrical system is properly grounded, it's not specifically related to the termination of new cabling. B, the cable modem. The cable modem doesn't need to be grounded before terminating the new cabling. D, the workstations. Workstations are typically grounded through their power cords and don't need to be grounded before terminating the new cabling. 26. An administrator must extend the range of a Wi-Fi access point in a warehouse to provide connectivity for mobile devices. What type of cabling could transmit the AP's signal the farthest distance? A, Cat6 UTP. B, multimode fiber. C, coaxial with quad shielding. D, plenum rated STP. The correct answer is B, multimode fiber. This type of cable can transmit data over long distances, well beyond the range of the other cable types listed. ACAT6 UTP. While this is a common type of network cabling, it has a maximum distance of about 100 meters, 328 feet. C, coaxial with quad shielding. Coaxial cables can handle greater cable lengths between network devices than twisted pair cables, but not as long as fiber optic cables. D, plenum rated STP. Like Cat6, this type of cable also has a maximum distance of about 100 meters, 328 feet. 27. An administrator is running new fiber optic cabling between two buildings on a corporate campus that are 850 meters, 0.5 miles, apart. Which type of fiber optic cabling should be used? A, multimode. B, single mode. C, ohm-1 cable. D, ohm-4 cable. The correct answer is B, single mode. This type of fiber optic cable can transmit data over long distances, well beyond the 850 meters specified in the question. A, multimode. While multimode fiber optic cables can transmit data over distances, they are typically used for shorter distances. For example, an OM1 cable can support 1000 base SX out to 275 meters. See OM1 cable. This type of multimode fiber optic cable can support 1 gigabit Ethernet, GBE, 1000 base SX up to 275 meters. D, OM4 cable. This type of multimode fiber optic cable can carry 10 gigabit Ethernet up to 400 meters. 28. A network technician needs to terminate the multimode fiber optic cable in a patch panel. Which connector types are commonly used for this purpose? A, F-type and BNC, B, RJ11 and RJ45, C, SC and LC, D, DisplayPort and DVI. The correct answer is CSC and LC. These are common types of connectors used for terminating multimode fiber optic cables, AF-type and BNC. These are types of coaxial cable connectors, not typically used with fiber optic cables. B, RJ11 and RJ45. These are types of connectors used with twisted pair cables, not typically used with fiber optic cables. D, DisplayPort and DVI. These are types of video connectors, not typically used with fiber optic cables. (29) A network administrator needs to connect two buildings that are 100 meters apart. The connection needs to support a minimum data rate of 1 Gbps. Which type of cabling should the administrator use? A, Cat5e twisted pair, B, single mode fiber optic, C, HDMI cable, D, coaxial RG6. In this question, the best choice is B, single mode fiber optic. This is because single mode fiber optic cables can support high data rates and can transmit data over long distances, making them suitable for connecting two buildings that are 100 meters apart. The other options, A, C, and D, are not typically used for such applications due to their limitations in distance and/or data rate. (30) An administrator must connect a new VoIP phone that only supports USB 2.0 to a desktop computer. What is the maximum data transfer rate between the phone and computer? A, 12 megabits per second, B, 480 megabits per second, C, 5 Gbps, D, 10 Gbps. The best choice is B, 480 megabits per second. This is the maximum data transfer rate for USB 2.0. A, 12 megabits per second is the maximum data transfer rate for USB 1.1, not USB 2.0. C5 Gbps is the maximum data transfer rate for USB 3.0, not USB 2.0. And D10 Gbps is the maximum data transfer rate for USB 3.1, not USB 2.0. And that wraps up our deep dive into the hardware domain. Up next, we're exploring part 1 of the virtualization and cloud computing domain. Stay tuned, keep learning, and let's ace the CompTIA A+ together. See you in the next video.